DL Trader here with today's trade recap. It's Friday the 29th of March, last trading day of the month. Interesting day for me, quite a lot to run over. So we'll get started and I'll do my best to keep everything organised with this review. So first trade of the day I had was on SEEL, S-E-E-L. Here's the 3-minute chart here. Just a quick look over on the daily chart. Former runner, gapped up pre-market. So looking for failed follow through to get short. So faded off of these pre-market highs, opened up at 9:30 and instantly washed out. So looking for a move lower. Didn't want to chase down here, waited for a pop back up. Saw this pop back up, this second candle, reject and pop down. So felt like it was a good entry. Starter size short, and it popped up higher. So took the very small loss. Well, I'll say very did not small size loss on this one, and look for the next trade. In hindsight, perhaps a little bit of a chase, a little bit too tight with the risk. Having a risk up more towards the $4 level and shorting into towards that $4 level mark might have been a better sort of trade, but you just never know. So the good thing is small loss on that one. The second trade was APDN, which was a very similar trade. Another gap up, fail, sort of pre-market, had this bounce back up just before the open, again washed out. So I wanted to short, looking for a move lower, and once again stopped out. This one, annoying, you take that stop and it literally reverses on you, and then it would have been a nice winner. So these are annoying. I'm going to have to look at what I'm doing with these, with this setup, this sort of washout bounce thing, and be a bit more patient. Give them a bit more room, let them bounce a bit higher, maybe scale in, because at the moment they're not working. This one was on the back of SEEL, where I took the loss, and then I didn't want to take another loss and get towards that max loss on the day, so I cut it super quick, and my hard stop was up here somewhere. So very small loss, but kept me in the game for the day, and that's what I want to be doing, is staying in the game, waiting for the opportunities. So next trade, GBR, the headache for me of the day. So got this one on the Momo scanner. Former runner, likes to rip, doesn't usually hold on to its gains. 2-day run here, 1-day run here, etc. So saw it on the Momo scanner. Helps if I rewind time. And as it started popping up, previous close 1.8, sort of 1.8 level, ripped up towards 2.2, trying to be patient for that entry. And after the fact, when you look at the chart now, it looks like I was crazy early, but the thing is, here, it's made this big rip, it's pulled back hard, it's ripped again, it's pulled back really hard. So it does look like it's weak, to me at least. So good, I was patient, waited for the entry. Shorted here, risking high of day, it ripped through it, so I stopped out. I'm perfectly happy with that trade. People think I'm perhaps shorting too much on the front side. But for me, a lot of these stocks pop and drop and give really nice risk reward. So for me, it's worth taking the risk. Sorry, I've just been locked out of the system. Let me log back in. So for me, it's okay. As long as I've got the discipline to keep these losses small, then that's an okay trade for me on the front side. So short, stop out, and it takes over high of day. My problem is I sort of, once I take that loss, I'm a bit jumpy to get back in. And here, I'm shorting again. That's a terrible trade. Short and again, stop out. Really annoyed me, that one. I shouldn't have done it. It basically took me about $10 off my my max loss $100, took me within $10 of my max loss. So I was very annoyed myself, because now it's very difficult to take a trade, because you've got to instantly be right, or you're going to hit max loss and be cut off. And I want to be around to capture, the opportunities in the day. When I've seen these big runners up, these pullbacks, I always feel like they're going to squeeze a bit higher. So I've tried to be really, really patient. And then really missed the move. It came up here, tried to push over 3.7 a few times. I thought about a trade at up here, didn't take it. And was pretty gutted. So later on in the day, with huge FOMO, I ended up doing completely emotional trading. Shorting, not giving it enough room, shorting again, not giving it enough room, shorting again, not giving it enough room. I mean, it's middle of the day, it's sideways chop. I've got no reason to be shorting that. At the time, my mind is thinking, oh, don't miss out on that next big wash. But the reality is there's no edge down here. It's just as likely to come back up as it is go down. It's going to be choppy because it's midday. So first trade, not a problem. I'm happy with that one. It was a loss. That's going to happen. Second one, emotional. Get back in case I was right. And then this one's terrible. So that was the third trade on the day. The savior was BOXL, which I was in during the GBR trade. So the setup, gap up, looking for that failed follow through. It rejected here. I took a short around here for lower, but hit the bid, and as I did it, it shot down. So this was the biggest chase ever. I gave it a couple of seconds just to see if it wanted to go low, and when it didn't, I took it off straight away, pretty much for scratch. I didn't want to work into a loss. I thought just scratch it, look at the trade fresh, see what happens. So I let it pop back up, didn't really do anything. So played it once again a short here for lower, covered half into the wash, and then tried to get back in on that bounce. Got back in, and then my stop got hit, which is annoying. I should really have, it's too tight. I should have that stop up here near higher of day. But at this point, I'm so close to hitting max loss on the day. I've got to be so careful. So stopped out. Once it did reject a move higher, got back in, added more, working into size on the backside. And then from there, it's really just like working with that winner. So covering into the wash and trying to, I was waiting for a bounce up here to get short again. Felt like this was too soon to jump in. As it moved lower, this sort of line here, 3.6, starting to act as resistance. So shorting into the pops, trimmed a bit on the wash just to take some profits, reduce the risk, and scale in. Took quite a lot off here because I felt like it started to hold this low, but then once it didn't, added short again and covered into the wash. So at this point, I'm really nicely green on the trade. I've worked with the winner, and now I'm just going to keep doing it until it stops working. So added some back on here, set my stop, and it triggered just there. Again, it's annoying. It just took it out, just took the stop. Had my stop have been, slightly higher, I would have been still in the trade, and, it does go on to make a move lower. So it could have been an even bigger win. As it was, I started off with a 20-cent risk or something. So a 1R, I ended up making, 8R on the trade. So I can't be disappointed with that, even though I didn't get the bottom. So for me, overall today, the good things are I got within 5% of my max daily loss and managed to pull it back to nearly a 1R green day. That's a good thing. APDN, too tight but a small loss, so acceptable. SEEL, small loss, acceptable. GBR, really the headache today. 2 emotional trades. If I hadn't have made those 2 mistakes, would have been probably a 1.5R, 2R day. So anyway, all in all, a good month, some good progress. Starting to really get the feel again for my 3-minute charts, for my pattern of topping out, shorting for backside, and then working the positions, trying to really grow those winners. Okay, 10-day holiday for me now, so I'll be back doing the recaps when I return in mid-April. Okay, guys, cheers.